So welcome. On behalf of the school board, we thank you for being here in person or virtually. I'm Heather Staggs, president of the school board. To my left is Luke Jackson, vice president, Dan Conway, secretary, Jackie Deckard, member, and Matt Hankins, member. To my right is Superintendent Eric Bolin and Assistant Superintendent Susie Lips. If you will all stand, and we will give the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you.
Time to go.
Okay.
Phone call from God.
All right, yes. Courtney, do we have any agenda comments? Yes. Okay. So, a visitor that wishes to speak regarding an agenda item may do so according to policy 167.3. The visitor will be required to state his or her full name and address and will be given a 3-minute allotment of time. Feedback or answers to questions will be provided before the next board meeting and/or during the old business section of the next board meeting. It shall not be permissible to orally present or discuss complaints against individual employees. Such charges or complaints shall be presented to all board members in writing and shall be signed by the person making the charge or complaint. We appreciate everyone's cooperation and look forward to working together for the betterment of the district. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jen Knuckles Stafford, and I'm here to speak on items C1 and C5 of the consent agenda, the regular session minutes and the personnel report. Neither of those items are available to the public prior to this meeting. If you go to the board docs website, everything else is there except for those 2 items. I don't know if the board is aware of that. I'm not able to come to every meeting, but I make sure that I read through all the items that are online, and I make sure to watch the live stream either as it's going on or afterwards to keep up on what's going on. And I noticed 4, 5, 6 months ago that the personnel reports were no longer being included in the materials that came out prior to the meeting. And when I noticed that, I contacted the central office and I was told that that report is no longer included in the prior information and will appear online after it's voted on. I've noticed the last 2 months, the meeting minutes haven't been there. And I don't know if the board's aware of that. It's hard to comment on things you can't see. So, and as somebody who makes an effort to read through all these things, I, for one, would really appreciate having that material out there so it can be reviewed. And it could be something as innocent as a typo that somebody's going to miss. But it could be something more. And once you vote on the minutes, then they're set. They can't be changed. So on behalf of the legal nerds like me who like to read through meeting minutes and things, I would ask the board to reconsider that position and make those meeting minutes and make those personnel reports available prior to this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and moving on now, we have our consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Heather, to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second.
And any discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next up, student field trips and professional travel.
Okay. Let me get my glasses on now. For student field trips and professional travel, there are none at this point, so none to be approved for you.
Oh, we do have one.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop,
Yeah.
whoop. We added the golf, did we not? Nope, it's not on there.
Up here.
Okay, let me look at yours. Okay, we do have one. Okay, we did have a successful golf outing at the sectionals. Our team came in second place, the boys, and they are going to be going to Lafayette to participate in the regionals. They're going to go up the day before. They're going to have a practice round, and then they're going to stay up in Lafayette that evening and then participate in the regionals the next day. So I would recommend approval of this very successful team.
Yes, that event happened Tuesday, so I think that's why it was added.
Yeah.
They went up today, and then we'll be participating tomorrow. So do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
and a second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for clarifying the dates. I got
You're
them
welcome.
wrong too.
That's okay.
Wow.
That's okay. Well, I would like to, a special congratulations to Liam Ralph for that. He is my nephew and scored a 76, so we're super proud of him and the team for advancing. Okay.
Next is a curriculum report. My name is Susie Lips. I'm the Assistant Superintendent. Martinsville Schools open enrollment for 2025-2026 school year is live. Parents in our district and from other districts can enroll their children of any grade level in Martinsville schools for the next school year. Families can enroll by clicking on the enrollment icon on the district website. Martinsville's elementary schools have pre-K available slots for next year for those with students that are 4 years of age. Free tuition and reduced rate scholarships are available to all of our preschool program attendees. Parents can call Central Education Center for enrollment information. Martinsville schools offer something for everyone. Free and reduced rate pre-K programming, alternative education programming, customized scheduling, virtual instruction, 7 elementary schools to choose from for the next couple of years, cutting edge technology for classes and students, Project Lead the Way, STEM, performing fine arts, in-house special education services, dual college credit and AP courses, invested staff members, outstanding competitive educational and athletic venues, and Martinsville is the home of 64 academic and athletic state championships. Staff shout-outs for this summer. Thank you to the food service staff, technology team, maintenance staff, transportation department, coaches, teachers, and office staff for continuing to provide services to our students, recruitment teams, athletes, and our community. Also, thank you to teachers and staff for participating in training and planning sessions in preparation for the 2025-2026 school year. Thank you.
Okay, the next items are first read only for policies. That's items under E report 2 through 10. And it's first read only. So if you have some comments or want to make some suggestions, recommendations, as you look at those, we can address that.
I would have a question. Policy 8510, the wellness policy. I know Kurt Bodell is working on it. Was he involved in
Yeah.
updating this policy
Yes.
with
Along
his?
with Jordan Gallion,
Okay, perfect.
the Morgan
Okay.
County Health.
Thank you.
Kurt has a number of hats
He does,
that he wears
yeah.
and does a fantastic
Yeah.
job. I think it's a great time also to state that we are feeding around 4,000 meals per week.
And not every school district is doing this.
Correct.
So,
So
you know,
it
kudos
is
to Kurt and
unbelievable
his
what they're doing.
people, yes.
It is unbelievable. So
That is-
we're grateful for him and the staff that's doing that because that is obviously a need. And I'm glad families and children are able to partake and take advantage of that.
The question I had was on 5430, the grading report. Is there a reason for that change? I've been asked that a couple times, and is there a reason that, I guess all I saw was the changes on here with the Apex, Indiana Online, and other schools around are not on that similar format, is there a reason we would change the format we're on? For the
We can
grade.
check with Neola to find out
Okay.
what the attorneys
Because I looked
were
around for
thinking.
other schools to see if there was anything else that
Okay.
was around here, and everybody else is still on the old format versus the S plus, S minus. I mean, the confusion of that, especially when you're offering different services through different organizations. I know Monrovia it apparently is not on this. I would assume, and there's some other ones, but it just seemed unique and.
Are you asking about the grade scale itself, Dan?
Yes, just, you know, why did we want to make the change on that piece of it? And I don't know if there was anything more public on that or not. I was asked a couple times and I said I would just ask the question.
Yeah, we'll get you some more information.
And it's K through 4,
Right.
you know, and
But even the high school, there's changes on that too, right?
I think there are a couple. The high school's changing, the Apex is going away, they're going with a different version.
Okay.
So that's one of the changes that you're seeing
Okay.
there.
well, and the state dictates a lot of the things that we do as well, is how they come over.
The alt ed is changing drastically. Number one, funding. And
Yes.
number two, parameters along with the pathways, the guidelines and the guidance coming from them on that is a little bit of the building the plane while it's in the air, because a lot of things are supposed to roll out July 1st. And the caveat that we've received is we'll be getting that information from IDOE. I feel for them because there are a lot of changes in this last session and a lot of things have to come online. And so there'll be a lot of movement here coming up. We'll play some catch up for some of it, but I will look into that for you. Any other questions, comments, or something to look into? Okay.
Okay, old business.
Old business, we do not have any old business for tonight.
All right, well, we
Jackie
will-
wanted me to be quick tonight. Pacers
Good
aren't
thing
even
it wasn't
playing.
last night.
All right, well, we'll move on to the action items. So action item number 1.
Action item number 1 is the student handbook for the high school. I recommend approval.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Martinsville High School Student Handbook.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and any discussion?
Yeah, I've got a question. I was curious on the cell phones, why we can't have them like the middle school put in the lockers during the day? Or is a lot of teachers using that? Or is that a
I
problem?
know some of them use the
In
immediate
classes.
feedback in classes. There's different reasons. And many of the schools are using ours. If you remember, we were the ones that were making headlines at USA Today and all those whenever we did the cell phone policy a couple of years ago, and then the state adopted basically our
Right.
format, which is a good testament to what we were trying to accomplish. But the high school it's a different animal at the high school than it is at the middle school. And that's what the high school administration was comfortable with. It's what the teachers were comfortable with. They've got their little things hanging up, their cubbies, they're different things that they're utilizing. And we're going with their recommendation there.
Okay, I was just curious, because another question I had, how are the locker situations? Are the students using the lockers at the high school or?
That will be something they'll determine once they find out how many of those that they haven't used since 2019, maybe. How many of them are usable? Because we've ordered a number of new locks to be changed out. Those are inset locks. They're not the loose ones. But we have ordered some loose ones as well too. Those things have 5-year cycles. So you go in, you have to manually change the combinations of each one of those lockers, right? And after that many years, they didn't use them, some of those can't be fixed. So we're replacing them. So they'll determine that once they find out how many are available. They would like to use the lockers this upcoming year.
Okay,
That is their goal.
okay,
So we're doing all we can to move that. We have a short summer, but we're trying to get that taken care of for them.
okay. That's the only questions I have.
Are the lockers big enough?
Well,
The size was the
I
other
could tell you
thing I
this,
heard
I don't, it's a lot different
Make it
than it
happen.
was years ago. Back whenever I was there, we didn't even have book bags, right? Now kids come to school, like armored turtles, carrying the book bags and stuff, and they have to try to put them in. And that's one of the reasons they went away from them back around I think it was 2018 or 19. They went away from it. But it is what it's a very expensive proposition to take out all those lockers and put in the bigger locker things. We're talking about $500,000 or so.
And they don't have as many textbooks now.
Yeah,
either,
well,
so,
with the
yeah,
Chromebooks
yeah,
and
yeah.
the electronic textbooks, that did lessen the load on our armored turtles a little bit. But I don't think you can't hardly put a big puff winter coat in the thing, right? Not without trying to rip it, but they would like to do it because there is a safety component too. And
That's
the
what I
safety
was wondering.
programs recommend having lockers and not having the book bags. And having dealt with a gun and a book bag back in 2004, I know exactly what they're talking about.
All right,
Okay.
I have a motion and a second, so all in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next one is item number 2 under action items, substitute handbook. I recommend approval.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the substitute handbook for the 2025, 2026 school year.
All
I'll
right,
second.
thank you. All right, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next one is Project Lead the Way Engineering Grant in the amount of $25,000. Obviously, it supports our continuing education or efforts in engineering in the district. And it's paying off big dividends as we move forward. So I recommend approval of this grant.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Heather, to approve the Project Lead the Way engineering grant.
I'll second.
All right, and any discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, items 4 through 7 are donations. I'll read them all and then vote on them as a block. Donation from McCullen Insurance to MHS staff, $500. Donation from the Martinsville Noon Lions to the MHS Decathlon in the amount of $500. Donation from Central Indiana Police Foundation to the MSD of Martinsville Police Department in the amount of $2,550. And a donation from Psi Iota Xi to the MSD's Special Services in the amount of $4,000. I think that's a generous donations from each of these groups, and I recommend approval of all the donations.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Heather, to approve all the grants that's been placed before us, or donations that's been placed before us.
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Great. Public comment.
Public comment time.
Courtney, do we have any? Okay. Okay. A visitor that wishes to speak regarding any district topic may do so according to policy 167.3. The visitor will be required to state his or her full name and address and will be given a 3-minute allotment of time. Feedback or answers to questions will be provided before the next board meeting and/or during the old business section of the next board meeting. It shall not be permissible to orally present or discuss complaints against individual employees. Such charges or complaints shall be presented to all board members in writing and shall be signed by the person making the charge or complaint. We appreciate everyone's cooperation and look forward to working together for the betterment of our district. Who do we have? Okay, Mr. Mitchell?
Mr. Mitchell is very scary. Bill is better. 3411 East Sanderson Road, Mooresville, Indiana. I worked with the school board to get the teachers to get more money from the community, for the school board, from 4.5 to 8.4 tax increase. And now if I understand, the teacher's not going to get a very good raise. So why can't you buy budget in for the teachers to get a raise without being tied to the administration? Bloomington just done it. They give their teachers $6,000 on the side the other day. So why can't we do the same thing for our teachers? Because we got administrators making $120,000. We got teachers making $60,000, And they're $10,000 below Mooresville, anybody around here, they're below anybody. So that's something I'd like for you to see what you guys could do about in your budgets for next year. And then my next subject is, that I know a little bit about, bus contracts. You guys are losing a lot of money for bus contracts. You guys can own your own buses and do other things, because I had contract buses. So I'm talking from experience. I don't get my buses wasn't inspected very often, but once or twice a year. And sometimes my buses were broke down, and the people still drove them. Today, in this day and age, that doesn't work anymore because the school's more responsible for everybody's buses. So if a contract driver doesn't fix his bus and it has a breakdown or has something get hurt and the kids get hurt, you guys are going to be on the hook. Because you don't keep, the contracts don't keep my buses inspected. Now, school does. School does a fine job of keeping buses in contract to protect the students, but contract drivers do not do it. I guarantee you that. I'm from experience, because I bid, last time I bid was in 2012, and we had a bidding competition. And today, there's no bidding competition. There's an agreement. The people walks in and says, I'm going to bid so much money, and you guys say, okay, the contract signed. You don't debate or try to bring the prices down, because I can give you, okay, I just called Midwest Transit yesterday. A new bus would cost you $140,000. There's no contract drivers driving $140,000 bus, because you got to pay for it in 4 years or 6 years. Most of the contract drivers are driving buses 8 and 12 years old, and they're getting, according to the contracts here, they're making about $200 profit, $175 to $200 profit each route per day. Per day. So see how much more you're giving the contract drivers when you could buy your own buses, because you can buy a bus for a new bus that costs you $140,000. A year-old bus is $90,000, and it goes down $10,000 every year for every year that bus is older. So $140,000. If they're budgeting on $140,000, that is not fair to you guys or the taxpayers to be paying that kind of money when they're probably driving 8 and 12-year-old buses, which is only going to cost them $70,000 to $80,000. So they're making, you guys do the math, $365 to $475 a day. And at most generally, when I was driving, it cost me about $170 a day to drive. $120 for the driver's school.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Your time is exceeded. Okay. And superintendent comments.
Okay, just a couple of comments. Number one, once again, congratulations to the golf team and wish them well tomorrow. I had the opportunity to attend the Kendrick Foundation Scholarship Banquet last night. I think it was 28 nominees, awardees, actually. And I got to see the best and brightest of Morgan County there at that banquet. And 9 of them were Martinsville High School graduates, recent graduates over the last, probably since 2012, 14. Most of them in the 2016 to 20 range. And these are all young people who are going into the health field. And we're talking doctors, physician assistants, nurse practitioners. My daughter is going into chiropractic. We're talking advanced nursing. Some of them wanting to be orthopedic surgeons. I mean, we're talking really high level healthcare professions. And talking with them last night and talking to these wonderful students, it just made me proud of what the MSD of Martinsville has done. And I got to see, Mooresville, and I got to see Monrovia, and they have to be proud too of their students who have gone on to do great things. And I look at, Mr. Mitchell alluded to the tax rate and stuff. I look at the tax rate in Morgan County compared to other counties, and we're not like them in any way, shape, or form. And for us to do what we've done over these years and what we've accomplished and what the end product has been, and having our students, when they cross that stage, prepared to chase their dreams, is really, truly heartwarming to see. And I got to, like I said, I got to see the best and the brightest chasing their dreams, and to hear them talk about what they're going into and doing. They're speaking languages I can't understand in that medical field. And these are our students, and we need to be proud of what we've accomplished, where we've been, and what we're doing. And we're always evolving, always changing, always trying to improve. That is what we're doing. And that's something that's very important task that we take to heart as a board and as an administration. We're going to have some turbulent waters ahead with the budget, with what's coming from the state. You see what that is. Everybody's that's paying attention knows there's some rough waters ahead, but we're positioned to mitigate that as much as possible and be in a good position. And I would like to say, I appreciate what Mr. Mitchell said about the tax rate. However, each one of those districts that's surrounding, they all pass referendums. That's the reason. And if you saw the new legislation, they're making it harder to pass referendums because schools were being successful. Now it's every 2 years that you can do it. And it's different verbiage, different language that you have to use. And they're limiting what you can do there. So it's going to be up to us to really navigate those waters. And our board over the last 3 years has really worked on the facility thing, the planning, all of that. We've got new elementary coming on board. We've got a couple of other projects coming on board. All that is done. It's all in the works, and it's going to be up to future boards and administrations to have that 5-year, 10-year, 15-year vision carried out, because this is just the first step in order to make us fiscally solvent and provide great opportunities for our students and staff. So wanted to say thank you to the board for that. I saw firsthand what has been done here last night with some great, great young people that are going to be saving lives and impacting families for years to come. And it makes me proud to have witnessed it and just been a small, small, small part of that. So thank you for your leadership. You're not in a enviable position, believe me, but thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Mr. Bolin. Do we have any board member comments?
I have a comment on the personnel. I would like, if we could, on the high school and middle school, is put the subject area, if they're English, math, social studies, or science. Appreciate that.
I think we can do that to a degree, because I want to give Mr. Bell and the administration there, some teachers are multi-licensed. Like I taught 3 different subjects, right? And you don't want to pigeonhole somebody to this is the only one they're going to have. But yeah, I think the ones that are moving off to the area they're coming into is best. But we're really trying to take our teaching staff. You are a teacher by contract in the state of Indiana. And I used to be asked the question, what do you teach? And I would say, I teach kids. Well, what do you teach? I teach kids. What do you teach? Oh, what subject do you teach? Those are 2 different things, right? And I think teachers are teaching kids first. A lot of things, the soft skills, the life skills, all those other things. That's more than just the subject. The kids I saw last night, they learned a lot more things than subject matter, you know. So we'll take that under advisement and put it into the report so you can see what areas we're looking to do, but we don't want to lock it into where we can't move some
I
in,
know,
if that's okay
but-
with you.
Right, I just want to kind of
Yeah,
know
kind of see which area that we're looking at.
losing, because I think it's happening not
Yeah.
just in our school district, across the state of Indiana.
Yeah, the
I know
pipeline
math
is
and
not
science are
full.
very,
It's pretty much
Yes.
empty.
math and science are very much a problem
Yes.
in a lot of school districts.
When I applied for my job at Martinsville High School in 1994, there were over 150 applicants. Now, if you get 2
You're lucky.
in the subject area, that's a lot.
Yeah.
think about that one for a minute.
Couple things I got, and you bring up some good points about what's posted, what's transparent, because we don't see that. So I think, I would ask anybody, if you have an opinion, if you have some feedback, I know Bill mentioned it, and you mentioned some things, I agree. I think we need to be able to pull minutes, we need to see some things. I'm not sure if we can post everything before a meeting, but I think we need to post as much as we can and be visible. And then after a meeting, we should be timely to get that done. The quality of the recordings have been a discussion, and I still don't know if we're really where we need to be on that. I've heard, again, I don't listen to them most of the time after we're done, but sometimes you'll hear the quality's still not the best, and I'm sure we're monitoring that as we were before, but I think that's important. And the feedback we got from you, Bill, I think those, coming from that world, you see that world different than we do. So I value the opinion. I mean, if there's a cost of a bus, or if there's a life cycle of a bus and someone else is using them differently, I think we have to have that conversation to at least look at it and study it a little closer. So I appreciate the feedback. I think that's going to be critical as we move forward. We've got a lot of moving parts coming up, and some people won't like everything, and there's going to be a lot of things I think
Right.
they do like. So I appreciate the feedback, so thank you.
Definitely have to be more efficient.
I would like to put what I said on next month's old business. You guys can report back to us what you find out about certain things. Can you do it that way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The public doesn't get very much involved in anything. I'm in government, they don't really care, but they see it when you guys bring it out and put it in their, the paper and on letter, it gets the whole community involved instead of just a few people that were the, like she said, it's kind of covered down sometimes on what people know about school systems. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? All right. Well, then we're going to wrap up our meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
In a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming.